Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawada from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for Yakim pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. All right, so I want to jump into this here lesson. Still dealing with why we call Esau Edom, or why Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is the devil. All right, so we're gonna just jump right on into it. 2 Thessalonians 2:3 says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." And that's where we at now. We revealing the son of perdition, the man of sin, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. All right, and that's exactly what he's doing today. The Most High created everything and ordained everything to be in a certain order. But what? The so-called white man, Esau Edom, all right, the damn devil, is going through and changing all these different ordinances and turning everything upside down. All right. It says, "Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming." All right. And so what? That's what we're doing right now. We revealing and destroying this damn so-called white man. All right. Verse 9, "Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders." That's exactly how, that's the description of the so-called white man. That's how he always moving on the planet Earth. All right. It says, with all powers and signs and lying wonders, all right, after Satan, all right, "and with all deceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. For this the Most High shall send them a strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness." So what? These wicked ass Jake that want to keep following after the so-called white man, thinking that there's wicked amongst all race or whatever, whatnot. The white man ain't the problem, whatever, whatnot. Hey man, you gonna wind up, Most High gonna give you over to this to a strong delusion to keep believing that. But like the scriptures say, though hand join in hand with the wicked, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. All right. But nevertheless, continuing on. We're going to go to the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. It says that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof, if not where and who is he? So the damn devil is ruling the whole earth right now, all right? Let's see how the devil is ruling this here earth. This is Isaiah 24 and 5. It says, let me go to 4. Isaiah 24 and 4, "The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languish and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof." All right. So the earth is being defiled under the people that's inhabiting it. But who's at the top of the earth that's inhabiting it? We just read in Job 9 and 24, the so-called white man. All right. The earth was given into his hand. All right. It says the earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. All right. And we're going to get into some of these things that so-called white men then changed up and switched out. All right. Because the Most High had then set and ordained everything to work in a proper order, the way he had things to be set up. All right. But yet the so-called white men want to come in and rearrange every damn thing, because why? He's adverse to the Most High. All right. He's adverse to the Most High. You know, when you go into an adversary or something like that. All right. So nevertheless, this is just going into him coming after the power and the signs after Satan. All right. It says the earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenants. All right. So we're going to get into some of these covenants and ordinances the Most High had set up, that the so-called white man then came through and changed up. All right. So we're going to go into the book of Genesis chapter 1. Genesis 1 and 11. It says, "And the Most High said," I'm going to read it verbatim. "And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. All right. Salakia. So basically, when the Most High had set up and ordained and put in order, all right, these different things like the replenishing of the earth, like the cycles that you have there, all right, like without human beings, like the earth is still getting how do you say like if the earth itself was a big ass garden, right, you really don't need human beings on the planet Earth to keep that going. Why? Because like how it's set up here, it says the earth bring forth grass and herb yielding seed after its kind. So they already got the seed inside of them. The tree yielding fruit whose seed is in itself. Let's just take an orange tree, right? You have the orange tree, which in order to grow the tree, you need the seed. Well, the orange tree is growing up tall. It's got oranges on it. The oranges eventually will fall off the tree, which inside the orange, you would have the seed. Now, you could have an animal come and take the orange, eat the seed, and through the digestive process, wind up shitting it back out. That's a cycle. Or even if the animals wasn't there, just fall right back onto the ground. You see what I'm saying? Keep replenishing itself. You have the different insects and animals that pollinate and germinate and basically help with the reproduction of all these different things. All right, so it's an endless cycle that's constantly going. Same with animals and things like that. You don't need human beings around for animals to be mating and keep you like wild ass animals. You don't have to tell them, hey, y'all need to reproduce. Y'all gonna be extinct if y'all don't keep reproducing. The animals already know what they need to be doing. You see what I'm saying? Because the Most High had ordained that and put that in place. But what? Speaking on animals, real quick, Esau Edom will go through and hunt out all the damn animals and bring them down to an extinction level. We got to hunt down all these animals and kill them all off. Now they extinct or whatever, whatnot, you know? This is what the so-called white man does to the damn animals, you know? Like what he did with the buffaloes, trying to kill off the Native American Indians, all right? So-called Native American Indians. But nevertheless, the Most High has said it and ordained it that the fruits and the vegetables will have their seeds already inside of them. All right. Now, when you fast forward till today's times, all right, whether you know it or not, the majority of you people have never really eaten real food a day in your life. All right. So according to the scriptures here, everything's supposed to have a seed in there. All right. Like when you go to the store and you get like bananas and shit like that. All right. For me personally, in my life, I've never had a real like a banana, like what we would call a banana. Never had a real one of those because there was never no seeds in there. All right. Nowadays, I remember going to the stores. You could buy like oranges, lemons and all those things. They would have seeds in them, you know. Before I actually, like, I'm not from Florida, but before I actually moved to Florida, you know, I was living in Atlanta. We used to come down here, you know, we would come down here and visit, and we would always go to, you know, relatives' house or whatever, whatnot, and grab some oranges off the trees, and they would always have a lot of seeds in there, you know. There would just be a lot of seeds inside the oranges, you know. But nowadays, you go and you get you an orange, you go to the store, you go buy an orange, an apple, lemons. Most of the time, you're gonna find them, they're gonna all be seedless. All right, you're gonna always find seedless, watermelon, seedless, this and that. That's not real food. The Most High said all these things got the seed in them. That's how they keep coming back and replenishing the earth with it. All right, but yet Esau is over here going into the genetically modifying these organisms. All right, by what? Making them seedless, making them bigger, crossing different seeds to get different outcomes. All right, but yet and still they all supposed to have seeds in them. All right, you ain't supposed to be having no apples without no seeds in there. And another thing about those GMOs. All right, another way to find out if you're eating real or fake fruits. Right, when you go into the market or whatever, whatnot, like your apples, no fruit is supposed to be shiny and glossy. Like when you see those apples that be all glossy and shiny, they're not supposed to look like that. Real fruits and vegetables, they're supposed to be ugly. Like if you know, here in America, we shop off of visualization. When you go over there, you look for the best looking produce, right? In order to get real produce, not saying good produce, but I'm just saying real versus the fake. The real produce is not going to look very appealing to the eyes. All right. The GMO stuff is going to always be the perfect size or the perfect shape, the perfect size, the perfect color, the right gloss, the right color hue and things like that. Like I said, like for apples aren't supposed to be glossy and shiny and have a high definition color to them and stuff like that. It's supposed to be like a little dull, flat color. You see what I'm saying? Same with oranges. Oranges ain't supposed to be all shiny and glossy and stuff like that. You know, they're not supposed to be a perfect round size, the perfect size. All the oranges ain't supposed to be the same size, same shape. There's supposed to be a bunch of differences in them. All right. But nevertheless, Esau Edom is like, no, we want the perfect round orange every time and at this size every time with no seeds in there. And yeah, we living in a society now where to us, we see it as an inconvenience of having to eat an orange and spitting out all the seeds, but who really cares? You see what I'm saying? One of the other things with that is shit, you could have went to the store and bought you one orange and went and planted, what the seeds that you got from there. You got you a bunch of orange trees from now. Now you got you a business. All right. But what Esau then went with Monsanto and took away all these seeds. All right. Putting these GMOs together and refeeding it back to you. Now you can't reproduce with none of these seeds out here because nothing has the seeds in it no more. All right. And any of the seeds that are out there are genetically modified seeds with certain chemicals and things that's already inside these here seeds. All right. So Esau had then switched all those things up. All right. And another thing that he's doing with these well, actually, I'll get to that. Where's that at? I think it's in Leviticus. This is Leviticus 19:19. It says, "Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with diverse kind." All right. So, basically, how do I put this? Right. Muhammad Ali said this the best, right? He was talking about race and stuff like that. I don't want no same black man, want no little white kids or whatever, whatnot going on. And they was trying to pull him out as a racist or whatever, whatnot, But then he gave this example. He said, we're all just people. They were like, we're all just people. But he's like, look, listen, the red bird want to fly with the red bird. The blue bird want to fly with the blue bird. The pigeon want to fly with the pigeon. You see what I'm saying? These are all birds, but they all go with each other. You don't see the red bird with the blue bird. You don't see a pigeon with a duck. You know what I'm saying? A chicken with a, you know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? They all go together with each other. All right. So you shouldn't be mixing certain things like they got a, this is how foul this is. I forgot what they called it. What is it? Like a deerbra or some shit like that, right? Which is like a zebra and a mule or some shit like that. Now, I believe that they both pretty much in the horse family, right? But they not the same shit, right? Now, you can crossbreed these two things like a lot of different things. I think there's another one like the liger, the lion and the tiger. They both cats, and they can breed them like these Edomites be breeding them. However, I believe that whenever you do things like this, that every time you do things like this, like I can't think of the name of the damn zebra and the mule or whatever it is, they can't reproduce. All right, that's just in nature. All right, everything, the Most High got everything set forth in nature the way it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And nature itself will tell you about certain things like that. That's why, you know what I'm saying? That's not that topic, but nevertheless, it's still going into certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you're not supposed, like, brother and sisters, what happens when a brother and a sister have sex together and have a child? Nature tell you what, your child got what? Down syndrome, right? Against the law. That's against the laws in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Man shouldn't be having a homosexual sex with another man. Well, what comes from that? Diseases and shit. You see what I'm saying? Same with these animals. When you start mixing different animals together that ain't supposed to go together like that, what happens? They become infertile because the Most High already had it set like that. Like, yo, look, this animal and that animal ain't supposed to be getting together. And if they so happen to get together some kind of way, we're going to stop them from reproducing. They ain't going to be able to keep reproducing. All right? Because that's an abomination. All right? So you ain't supposed to be splitting two different types of animals together. All right. Now I'm going to go a little bit further on into this because it's a lot deeper than that. All right. It says, you shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Neither shall a garment of mingled linen and wool come upon thee. All right. Now we're not really talking about the mixed fabric right now because of obviously we're in this here, captivity, but nevertheless dealing with Esau. Well, that's another thing. That's why he the damn devil. Esau Edom always got to have polyester, half cotton, half this, half that, whatever, whatnot. That's an abomination too, man. All right, but nevertheless, going back up to mingling the cattle and these seeds together. All right, going into what? The GMOs. All right, genetically modified organisms. Right now they do this. They do this with the seeds of all these different things. All right. So for a real life testimony, I used to work at a tomato packing house. Right now, one thing that I learned from working there and at another big produce type of place, something dealing with massive produce, one thing that I found out is that these places and things like that, like the things that you go to the store and get, right? For instance, let me think of something on the shelf. Your Tropicana orange juice, right? Now, what's crazy to me is that you go get something like Tropicana orange juice off the shelf, right? And they got an expiration date on there, knowing good and damn well that you can only harvest the damn oranges once a year. So let's hypothetically say that they harvest the oranges on January 1st of whatever year, right? Hypothetically, we know that's not the harvest season, but let's just say they get it on January 1st. By December 31st, at the end of that year, you still eating off of them oranges that was picked on January 1st a whole year ago. All right. And that's how they doing it with all your so-called produce and stuff like that, especially everything that unless you have to where you can farm it multiple times out of the year. But for the most part, you're only going to get one harvest throughout the year for those types of things. So what? The so-called white man wants to preserve a lot of these things. All right. And he preserves it with doing what? GMOing it out. All right. So like I said, one of the testimonies from when I used to work at a tomato packing house, right? Again, they would harvest the tomatoes once a year. All right. And then they would sell them year round. All right. So how would they get these tomatoes to, look good, juicy and presentable to people for them to buy? Was one thing that they would do. First, they would start with the seed from the tomato, right? They took that seed and they spliced the seed or mingled it with injected fish DNA into the tomato seed, right? And you like, the fuck are you mixing a fish and a tomato? Like, what kind of shit is that? That's retarded, But nevertheless, fish from being in the water, they hold water, their bodies hold water from being in the water the whole time. That's where they live at, right? When you introduce that gene into the tomato, now the tomato is holding water. All right. Now, let's say you pick a real tomato and then you let it sit on your counter for a while. Once it starts getting old and all that, it's starting to dry up, shrivel up. It's no longer juicy. It's all the water, the juiciness in the water is leaving up out of it. It's drying up and shriveling up. So the white man's plan is, all right, well, fuck it. If we can interject this here gene to keep water in this here tomato, maybe we can keep this tomato for a whole year round. We could preserve it like that. All right. So they would do that by splicing the gene with the fish gene. So the tomatoes would be, juicy and everything like that year round. All right. And the other thing they would do is they would put these tomatoes in this big ass warehouse. All right. And they would gas them with this here gas. Now, when they would get the tomatoes would be a greenish color, just like any tomato, they'd be green, big and juicy. They would gas them and they would turn like this bluish color. All right. Not green no more, but blue. They would be blue. Now they would take the blue tomatoes and they was going to go ship them out to the grocery stores. And from the blue tomatoes, they would go to the grocery stores on the truck. From there, they would sit in the back rooms of the grocery stores. They would turn from blue to green. Now, from that state, they would go from the green to the orange, and that's when they put them on the shelves. But again, like the analogy I was telling you, you could be at December 25th, right, eating some tomatoes that was picked on January 1st, the prior year before. Or, earlier that year. So, but it still looked juicy in all this fullness because of why? It's got this fish DNA in there and it's been gassed with these chemicals to preserve it for so long. All right. Now, fast forward to when you eating that tomato, right? If you took the fish gene and put it into the tomato for you to have the traits of the fish inside the tomato, now the tomato is juicy, plumped, it's preserved, and and one of the things, like, if they would tell us, you want to take some of these tomatoes home, you know what I'm saying? You could take them in the day blue, just take them and sit them out on your counter at the house into some sunlight. It might take 2 or 3 weeks, but they'll start turning. When they get orange, you'll be all right. Again, these is tomatoes that's been picked off of a plant for a while, and they're supposed to be slowly dying, but yet they still sitting juicier than all outdoors. You cut into it like the juiciest tomato you've ever seen. All right. But again, think about that. When you start consuming this, now what? Your body is holding this here tomato and holding this here water, just like the tomato is, and it's also being preserved inside of your body. Your body has to help, your body has certain things to help break down food. Plus the food itself is also going through a breakdown and decaying process. But yet when the food, it's like let me put it to you this way. It's like if you was to take a quarter and swallow a quarter, your body can't break that quarter down. You know what I'm saying? So when you go to pass it through in a bowel movement, you're going to see that same shining quarter. Basically, what you're doing with this damn GMO food is highly preservative. A lot of it's not passing through your body. You're not getting no vitamins and nutrients out of none of this because none of that's in there. All right. It's just basically like you eating a big thing of matter. All right. Some flavorful matter. really just so you get the taste of it, but that's not real food that you eating anyways. It don't have no seeds in there. All right, it's genetically modified. No real fruit would stay that long. You know, real fruit and vegetables, like I said, is not very appealing to the eyes. They're gonna have all kind of flaws to them. All right, not just that. Real food goes bad and it spoils and decays very quickly. All right, good food, real good food goes bad very quickly. You know, this is Esau and his preserving and his ways of preserving every damn thing. Like the reason that you have salt and pepper and condiments and things like that. Maybe not salt, because salt dries out things, but they also use salt for the same thing. But one of the reasons you got mayonnaise, mustard, and ketchup and all that was because of the meats. They would be getting old and they would start spoiling. But Esau wants to preserve it, so he would give you the condiments on top to take out that old ass taste of you eating some old rotten meat. All right, so this is where all these different things come from. You know, I know a lot of people ask me sometimes. I'll be eating like some hot wings or some chicken or something where it's supposed to have some sauce. Like, how you gonna get your wings with no sauce on them? Like, bro, I like chicken, the taste of chicken. I don't need the sauce, you know. And plus, when you know where that come from, I don't want to be covering up no bad taste with this and still eating bad food. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't want that. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, this is going all into what the so-called white man is doing with this GMO food and mixing and spicing of genes and stuff like that. All right. This is all abominations towards the Most High. Look at our people now, not just our people. Look at the whole United States and everybody else. Well, mainly the United States, because we all consuming these GMOs here. They tell you got about, what, I think 1 or 2 pounds of plastic inside of your body from consuming plastic and shit like that. Or they tell you from just breathing in small plastic particles. But nevertheless, in reality, you actually consuming plastic. You know, they do these tests on the foods in these little fast food restaurants, find out that a lot of the lettuce is cardboard, the French fries is cardboard. Another thing, if you still eating McDonald's, which you shouldn't be, take the McDonald's French fries. Like if you got kids and they've been eating the McDonald's French fries in your car, look up under your seats and see if you can find some McDonald's French fries and see how, or I would say do an experiment, throw some up under your seat for about 2 or 3 months and then go back and find them again. They look just like the damn French fries you bought from when you first bought them. Now, French fry ain't nothing but a cut potato that's been deep fried. The potato's supposed to be going moldy and all that after a while, but yet and still you see these French fries that look just as if they was brand new. Like you could put them right back in the box. You would never know no difference. Same thing as when it's going inside of your body. It's not breaking down and digesting. All right. And all this different made up food, it's all just mushed all together and things like that. I mean, this is all it's just all thrown together, made up food. All right. Everything is all just pushed together. You got processed food and things like that. All right. Byproducts with, made with apple flavor, apple juice or whatever, whatnot, man. This is all bullshit, man. Meatless meat. All right. This is what Esau's coming up with, all these abominations, man. Let me just let me grab one more scripture. We're gonna close out. This is Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 9. It says, "Take thou also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentil and millet and fitches, and put them in one vessel, and make thee bread thereof, according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon thy side. 390 days shalt thou eat thereof." So this is like a metaphor pretty much is going through, but nevertheless, take a look at this metaphor. All right. It says, "Take the bread thereof according to the number of days thou shalt lie upon thy side." So this here deal that you about to eat, it's got to last you. It's got to last. All right. Going into what? Esau Edom and his, what they call that shit? That preservatives and preserving food. You'd be surprised of how much preservative is in all kind of different things, whether it be the food itself, the seed itself, the soil that the seed was grown in, all right, the water that you put onto it, or the container that you have it in, whether it be a can, the lining of a can inside of canned foods, or the plastic inside of bottles. Like, for instance, when you ever wonder why beer bottles are brown, pill bottles are brown, tea, when you buy tea, sometimes your tea is like Arizona tea is in a colored bottle. Now they're not coloring the bottles for their style or whatever, whatnot. The color on that is helping to preserve the contents on the inside, because the sunlight is so if you ever had fish, right? Like fish in a fish tank, you know what I'm saying? You know, if you have your fish tank in direct sunlight in front of a window or something like that, your fish tank is going to constantly keep turning green real quick, you know, but if it wasn't in the sunlight, it would last a lot longer. So how do I say, certain containers, and they make certain containers with certain layers on the inside to add a preservative in there. Like I said, the canned goods back in the days, this is how you say, oh, canned goods last forever. Well, is it the canned good? Is it the can that making the food last forever, or is it the same food that you would normally eat and throw away that just lasts forever? Because you can be like, well, collard greens, let's say that's you know, as you get off the out the mistifier, the shelf where they misting it at, versus collard greens in the can. How come the collard greens in the can last a lot longer than the ones on the shelf? Because they got preservatives in the can, the lining of the can, and possibly the liquid that they preserving it in as well. All right. But nevertheless, you preserving these things for what? To eat it for a prolonged time. All right. Then it also says, going back to the top, it says, take thou also unto thee wheat, barley, beans, lentil, millet, fitches, and put them into one vessel, and make thee bread thereof. So why couldn't you just take you some damn wheat, let's say wheat and barley, and just make the bread out of that, or just the wheat out of that? Why do you have to have all these different byproducts just to make one simple thing? You see what I'm saying? It's like, yo, when I go to buy orange juice, why do I have to look on the ingredients and find 50,000 ingredients for just orange juice? I thought orange juice was just, you take an orange, you squeeze the juice out of it. You know what I'm saying? Or some of the simplest things you could look at, you know, a potato chip. Ain't a potato chip just a really thin shaved potato that was just like either baked or deep fried? You see what I'm saying? Or like French fries. Ain't that just a cut potato that's deep fried? There shouldn't be no ingredients to it. It should just be a potato. You see what I'm saying? But now you got 1,000 different ingredients in it just to make a potato. And you can go around and look at a lot of your labels. They all label like that. Well, this, and that. All these words you can't understand and describe or pronounce. Like, well, wait a minute. I'm trying to eat just the simplest shit. Why can't it just be this? You know, it's supposed to only have one ingredient, or if not 2 ingredients. Why does it got 1 million different ingredients? All right. Because of why? That's these GMOs and the processed foods and all these different things that you got going on now today. All right. Verse 10, it says, and thy meat which thou shalt eat shall be by weight, 20 shekels a day. From time to time thou shalt eat it. So what? Food is getting into a scarcity and things like that. So people have to so-called make their food stretch and things like that now. This is why they going into, this is why they had a so-called cheaper food, the more preservative foods. And you have a lot of our people eating on cheaper levels, like, shit, we got to make this shit last. We got to eat these here ramen noodles and stuff like that. Not knowing that ain't nothing but straight plastic. All right. Those ramen noodles is nothing more than straight plastic. I mean, there's plenty of videos on shit like that where you can look at people setting ramen noodles on fire, like they actually burning up like plastic, not like the food that they should be burning up, like cheese. When you go and you take a cigarette lighter and melt cheese with it, it turn black like if you melt in plastic. The Walmart ice cream sandwiches that you could sit outside all day or put on the grill while the grill's lit and the ice cream don't melt. You see what I'm saying? You should YouTube some of these things. The ice cream sandwiches that don't melt from Walmart. The cheese that you burn up like plastic cheese, cardboard in the lettuce. You see what I'm saying? All kind of different shit and all this different food that you eating. For what? To make it last a little bit longer, to make the food stretch. All right? Because they're not giving you the real food to begin with anyway. And first of all, if we was eating real food, we would be healthy. We would be super healthy because all the real food got all the things that, all the vitamins and nutrients that make up our body is replenishing it. But now all we eating, again, is genetically modified organisms. So you might think that you eating a potato, which the only ingredient of a potato should be a potato, but really in reality you eating something that's got 4,000 different ingredients and not one of them is a potato. You see what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? This is where we at in this day and time now. Verse 11, thou shalt drink also water by measure, a 6th part of a hin from time to time thou shalt drink, and thou shalt eat it as barley cakes, and thou shalt bake it with dung as cometh out of a man in their sight. All right. And so what just look at the processed food. You wouldn't be surprised at how much human DNA is in all kind of goddamn food and shit nowadays. But nevertheless, continuing on, verse 13, and Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. And so this is why we call the so-called white man, all right, who is Esau Edom according to the Bible. This is why he is the devil, all right, because who's got us eating these GMOs, genetically modified organisms, taking away all the seeds and GMO, the people, the animals, and all the crops and everything else. He even got chemtrails up in the air, polluting every damn thing, all the waterways. Who's doing all this? It's the so-called white man, Esau Edom. He owns Monsanto, which they merged with Bayer. Bayer's the same company that was giving out Bayer aspirins with basically the AIDS virus in them. All right, then they got caught here, I believe, in America doing it. Then they had to go and get rid of the pills that they already had up, so they sold them overseas to other people overseas. Who does that other than the devil? All right, the same devil owned Monsanto, which is the same company that made up Roundup, which is killing every damn body, which is the same people that made up, I believe, Agent Orange and what was that other shit they used in Vietnam? Some other shit they used in Vietnam as a massive killing weapon and shit. You know what I'm saying? These are the same damn people, man. The same people who be making drugs, chemicals and poison is the same people who's in control of your food. All right. And you wonder why everybody walking around sick and defiled and all kind of just craziness because of the so-called white man is the devil. All right. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, Kal Halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong and shalom.